Last Minute Purchase. A short story by Eko Ishii. The rack of Halloween items at the 100 yen shop was down to a handful of plastic spiders, a glowing skull, a stack of sticker tattoos, and a container of fake blood. The worst were the spiders. 5 for 100 yen, but they were horrible things. 9 legs instead of 8, with the 2 giant eyes slightly off kilter to make it look cross-eyed. Grotesque, but not Halloween cute. And Japanese customers wanted Halloween cute. Yuki was working a late shift and doing her best to clean up the misplaced items back in the correct containers. Halloween was not a Japanese holiday, but people liked orange and black color scheme. Or, as her cousin put it reminded them of English classes from when they were children. It was nostalgic, and in Japan, nostalgia was a value. Yuki did not share these sentiments. She was only half Japanese, on her mother's side, and had only lived here since high school. She had struggled, because her language skills weren't good enough. 7 years later, she only got odd jobs like this. She glanced around the depressing store with its peeled paint and aisles of cheap goods. This was her life stretched out in aisle after aisle of off-brand cleansers and generic candy. Yuki took the last of the Halloween debris, shoved them in the big metal bargain bin, marked down to 2 items for 100 yen. Still a profit, because most of it was made in other parts of Asia by laborers who earn 5 yen an hour for their hard work. Fake Western merchandise, made for a Japanese market in Southeast Asia. The Christmas items are stacked in boxes in the corner to replace those. They will be shoved to the side by December 1st and in the bargain bin by December 24th. Such is the lot of mass-produced holidays. Miss Doi was closing up the register, 2 aisles over and out of view. Her husband's meager pension meant the older woman was still working well into her 70s. She moved slowly, and always had the faint whiff of mothballs and cigarettes on her clothing. Yuki and Miss Doi were supposed to stock shelves together, but Miss Doi was too old to lift the boxes. Yuki was fine with that. There wasn't much to do anyway. A man wandered by and looked in. He banged on the glass door. Both women ignored him. In a huff, he staggered away. He was probably drunk, a salaryman stumbling home from the bar. What he wanted from a 100 yen shop was anybody's guess. As Yuki turned away, she bumped against the cardboard pumpkin filled with plastic spiders, and they scattered all over the floor. There had to be hundreds of them. It shocked her. The pumpkin wasn't that big. It was as if they had multiplied. She looked at the pile of 9-legged spiders amassed at her feet, the flashy plastic eyes all staring up at her. Yuki picked up a handful of the spiders, wrapping them in a fist. When she felt movement, she dropped them with a shriek. Two legs twitched. Stunned, Yuki dropped it to the floor. The other spiders began to scatter across the linoleum, plastic legs twisting and Google eyes glowing. She wanted to yell to Miss Doi, but she was too terrified to form words. She raced down the aisles, past the Halloween displays, and the cheap towels, and the flimsy cardboard toys. A few spiders were still scurrying across the floor, but most were flat on their backs, legs curled inward in rictus. Yuki took a deep breath. This could not be happening. She thought she heard the faint strains of Miss Doy's voice, but ignored it. The old woman was always talking to herself. Yuki marched to the back room for a broom and dustpan. Clean it all up. That was the plan. So she swept, swish, swish, the little plastic arachnids into the trash. The corpses piled up in the dustpan, and she put through in the bin. Then she scooped up more, and then more. 4 times, and that should be the last of them. She dumped those in and looked down, only to see a bit of plastic from underneath the shelf. She swept under to get the last one, only to have dozens more sweep out onto floor. This was not right. There were never this many spiders. Yuki began to sweep frantically, feeling as if she couldn't possibly stop herself. All the while, lights flickered and flickered, dancing across the little plastic spider bodies. She swept until her arms hurt, until her fingers were stiff from clutching the handle. A bright red light swept across the store, and Yuki finally stopped, shielding her eyes. The manager was unlocking the door with a policeman behind him. The drunken salaryman was behind them, frantically pointing. They rushed in as Yuki raced around the corner. There was Miss Doy, slumped down over the cash register, her body covered in Halloween decorations. Last Minute Purchase. A short story by Eko Ishii.